Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It is Thursday, January 11th, getting one day closer to that wild card matchup for the Detroit Lions. Lions taking on the Los Angeles Rams. We got a packed show planned for you guys today. John Maakaron joins us. Of course, it's Thursday. 8:30. Sam Flannel, my partner in crime. KG, JB here with us as well. Sam, how you feeling this morning?
You know,
it's shitty out. I think we all understand that.
Oh, it's definitely shitty out. It was probably the most difficult drive in a very, very long time, especially since last winter. But we're all here, we're all together, and we're all gonna have some fun. But I'll tell you what, and I think this more probably applies to JV and KG because you guys are closer to my age. Jeff, you're a little bit younger. Doesn't it feel like when it comes to football with the news we heard about these coaches that our childhood is just coming to an end? You got Nick Saban, you got Bill Belichick, and you got Pete Carroll. Are you kidding me? I've never seen anything like this. Just it's all gone. Now we just have to live in nostalgia or just move forward. But I could not believe it. Just back to back to back. And I kept thinking, this is fake, this is fake, this is fake. And then I see Schefter and all those, and I'm like, nope, this is all real. Respect to legends.
Yeah, it puts perspective in my mind about just how time flies.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine a sport, the sport of football, college football and NFL, without three guys. And Bill Belichick is expected to return, but he's 71 years old. He doesn't got much time left either, you'd assume, for him before he retires. So you have Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, and Nick Saban. Like, three of the greatest coaches of all time, football at any level. And here we are. Today, one day later, Bill Belichick expected to be back, but no Nick Saban, no Pete Carroll.
Oh, was he expected to be back? I thought he was gone.
Well, expected to be back somewhere else.
Okay,
he's going to be coaching again. Pete Carroll will not be coaching again. Nick Saban will not be coaching again. Bill Belichick wants to coach again. I think he's like, I have to double check this. He's like 14 or 15 wins away from Don Shula. So as a personal thing, he's probably like, yeah, I want to just get that.
No, for sure. But Bill Belichick with anybody but the Patriots is just going to seem strange. I mean, think about this. You have the best college coach ever, in my opinion, the best NFL coach ever, in my opinion, and one of the three coaches ever to win a natty in college football and a Super Bowl in the NFL, just all let go or retired on the same day. I don't know if we will ever see anything like this again. Maybe it speaks to the what have you done for me lately in the case of maybe Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick, although the Seahawks are still winning. I think Nick Saban is one of those guys. And you saw that a lot in college basketball with guys like Jay Wright and Roy Williams and Coach K. They with the NIL and the transfer portal and everything, a lot of these old school guys just kind of want to get out while they can. And I don't necessarily blame them. What does Nick Saban have to prove right now? Nothing.
Yeah, they're all in their 70s, and they're all proven. I mean, Nick Saban, the greatest college football coach, and you could argue the greatest coach of all time with what he's done. 8 college football playoff appearances in a 10-year stretch, and the amount of rings he's been able to stack up with the amount of talent he's been able to coach. And then you have a Bill Belichick. New England will now have a new head coach for the first time since, I believe, 2000. So it's a different time. I'm curious. I think Mike Vrabel to the Patriots makes the most sense. I just think it makes too much sense to me. Like, a former Patriot, it seems like he gets the culture. They go a little younger, and Vrabel's a hell of a coach. So that makes the most sense to me. Now, the most confusing thing to figure out would be that Alabama job.
Ooh,
because that's the best job opening in college football.
It is the best job opening, but you have to follow Saban.
Exactly. So that one I'm a little more intrigued about, because you have. And I saw odds on who's to become the next Alabama head coach. I mean, I saw random names on there. I saw Deion. I saw Kirby Smart. I saw Dan Lanning. Like, guys that are coaches, like, already for other universities. We'll see what they do. Maybe they go get someone from the NFL, or they promote an assistant. But maybe someone just jumps a program to go to Alabama.
I even seen Mel Tucker's name on that list.
Okay, honestly,
that one would, yeah.
Out of all those names that you mentioned, if I were Kirby Smart, I would just stay at Georgia and become just. I mean,
they're favored to win the national championship next year.
He's going to be the most legendary coach in Georgia history. I think you could argue he already is. I mean, Dan Lanning, that's an interesting one. I think Alabama is certainly an upgrade over Oregon, even though Oregon is a hell of a job. Dan Lanning has done a great job. I think he came up as the defensive coordinator at Georgia. So Alabama, he knows the SEC. I don't hate that one. I heard Booner mention on last night's Woodward Nights Lane Kiffin.
Right.
He used to be an OC for under Nick Saban. He has the Ole Miss job, but he's one of those that has jumped around. He's been at Tennessee, USC, the Raiders, Florida Atlantic, Ole Miss. He's just been everywhere. But I think Alabama is that destination job where he could fit in. He's a great offensive mind. I'll tell you what, though. I heard a name that I did not want to hear.
Oh, I think we're going in the same way. I want to see you say it.
Dion.
Oh. I was gonna go worse than that. I saw a name on that list, James Franklin.
James Franklin's a better coach than Deion Sanders. Come on, guys.
I'm fading James Franklin.
Come on, guys.
I don't want anything to do with James Franklin. I
also
saw. I've been seeing people comment too. Harbaugh to Bama, which is just laughing. Harbaugh's the one that essentially set Nick Saban into retirement. It was the last game he played before he retired.
All right. Let me just address that really quick, because I am a fan of truth. I am not one of those who likes to live in fallacies, and I have to be consistent. I don't want my fellow Michigan fans, as much as I love you all, as much as we are reveling in our national championship and should for a very, very long time, I don't want to do the whole, Jim Harbaugh was like retired Saban. That's a little bit over the top. I get it that Nick Saban's last game as an Alabama head coach was a loss to Michigan and Jim Harbaugh, but that's to me like kind of... To me, that almost implies that, okay, everything he's done is just invalid because Jim Harbaugh beat him. It's kind of like how I felt, even though a lot of people agree, including you, Jeff Eifredi, we fought about this, that Kirby Joseph ended Aaron Rodgers. That's just a little bit... They're too legendary of figures to be able to just be diminished like that. I know it's a joke, I know it's a troll, but there are a lot of people that are going to perpetuate the Michigan thing. My fellow Michigan fans and my fellow Lions fans are still perpetuating the Kirby Joseph Aaron Rodgers thing. I just find it a little bit annoying. Just a little bit.
And I'm glad you said that. I threw that out there as a little bit of a bait piece. I wanted to see what Sam would do with that, and he actually did the complete opposite of what I thought you'd take with it. So you know what? I'm impressed.
Consistency.
Because I've been seeing that all over X. I've been seeing it in the comments. Just, Michigan retired Nick Saban, which technically that was his last game. He coached. He lost. But I think it was more like, I ain't got it in me no more. Like this Alabama team, it's time, and it made perfect sense. So I'm glad you, very mature Michigan fan, to come out with that perspective.
Sure, and
you could have sat there and been like, "Yeah, we retired Nick Saban."
Well,
KG, what's up?
Did NIL kill Saban?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just a fan actually puts it perfectly, because I know he's an older Michigan fan and kind of has an old school mentality. NIL and transfer portal ended Saban, and I mean. Yeah, to some extent,
he's not too off.
No, he definitely. I think if Nick Saban wanted to deal with it and continue to coach, that Alabama would have been tremendously successful. He might have won them another national championship. But at the same time, he's got 6 with Bama, 1 with LSU. He's already the greatest coach in college football history. And at some point when you're in your 70s, doing all of that, especially with the constant turnover, that's got to be exhausting at some point. So I think that is more the reason why he was gone. And also, as we already said, he's got nothing to prove. I mean, with the NIL and transfer portal, he still made the college football playoff this year. So I don't think he would have been a bad coach or anything like that. I just think that old school coaches, and you saw that in college basketball with Coach K, the greatest coach in college basketball history, he was like, I'm out too.
Let's head to break here. I want to read this comment before we do. Noah M says, Lions got Aaron Rodgers to leave, Brandon Staley fired, Russ benched, and now Michigan retired Saban.
Okay.
And don't forget,
come on, guys.
Well, just to add to that list, not saying I 100% agree with what he's saying, but just to add, technically you could say they got Josh McDaniels fired. That's another one.
Well,
because they beat the Raiders and by Josh McDaniels.
Well, Josh McDaniels had a track record.
You knew that was coming.
That was the
this. I didn't see this coming, but yeah, Josh McDaniels, you knew it was a matter of time. I mean, and Staley, you knew he. I mean, that guy was. Freddie fell through on 3. Jeff, Michigan broke Bama like they broke Ohio State. We've had to eat shit for 20 years. You wanted a villain, you got one. Go Blue.
Damn. You know what? I agree with part
that was like
of
some wrestling.
Yeah,
I kind of like that, Freddie. I like that. Freddie talking that
Freddie, for real, though, even though I'm kind of a little bit annoyed with the whole Michigan broke Bama thing, even though I'm the biggest Michigan slappy around, Michigan did break OSU for sure. 1,000 million trillion %. They've basically been the more physical team every single year. They've bullied them for the last 3 seasons after taking all that shit. So yes, Michigan absolutely did break Ohio State, at least in terms of winning, like beating Michigan and going to the college football playoff. I know they made it last year, but it's not like they're a terrible program or anything like that. It's just not up to Ohio State standards, and Michigan has a lot to do with that.
Absolutely. I want to head to break. We're going to talk a little bit about Stafford, Jared Goff. That'll be at more 8:45 because things happen. All right, so we're moving that conversation 8:45. We're going to get into it. The Goff versus Stafford. They both spoke to the media, and I got some interesting video for you guys to hear. It's Matthew speaking about returning to Ford Field, and then I got Goff on just facing the Rams and his relationship with Sean McVay. So very interesting stuff at 8:45. Like I said, 8:30, we'll have John Maakaron join us, and when we come back from break in a little bit, I got a funny little post I want to show the people from Kirby Joseph and what he said yesterday. I thought this was really funny. But for right now, though, I got to tell you about our friends over at Hamlin Pub. Because, guys, have you ever wanted to be at a bar where you're known as a regular? Well, I got the place for you. It's Hamlin Pub. They got 7 locations. Whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on Thursday or game day specials, available all during Michigan sporting events and NFL games. Hamlin Pub is the place. Visit a location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Have you ever wondered where all the finest restaurants get their steaks? It's Fairway Packing Company, providing Michigan restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef for over 60 years. But now you can buy these cuts of meat for yourself at the Steak Shop by Fairway Packing Company. Prime porterhouse, A5 Japanese New York strip steak, dry aged Wagyu beef tomahawk. Delicious. Get to the Steak Shop today. Enjoy fine wine, have a private party, and get the finest cuts of meat anywhere. The Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, or order online, fairwaypacking.com.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Lions fans, it's the moment we've been waiting for. After 30 years, the playoffs are here in Detroit. Join us for the Ultimate Lions VIP tailgate this Sunday, hosted by Bullseye Event Group and sponsored by Long Drink, as the Lions take on Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Ooh. Food, music, excitement, and a chance to witness history. Let's roar together down at Eastern Market. Go to bullseyeeventgroup.com to get your tickets today.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Time's all messed up. 8:30. We're still going to have John Maakaron join us. That's the segment of the week. I love when John joined us. Great insight. He was at Dan's presser. You can hear John. When you listen to those pressers, John, you recognize his voice. He has great questions. We're going to get his insight on Dan Campbell, what he said, Sam Laporta, some other things. Just the storylines kind of upcoming for this Sunday, because it is a huge game. I cannot wait for it. Every day it gets closer to this game, I'm just mentally preparing myself for a win, of course.
Yeah.
But just to digest it. Like, the fact that we're seeing playoff football in Detroit. It's snowing outside. Oh, my goodness. It's such a great feeling. I'm excited for it. But right now, I got something I want to show the people. I thought this was really funny, kind of in the theme of, I guess, Stafford and number 9 and all that stuff, because it's been the talk of the town. And JB, you could, if you have the graphic of Kirby Joseph, what he said, this is just funny to me. They asked Kirby Joseph about number on Jameson Williams, and he just said, I only know one number 9. I don't know that other 9. And that's why I love guys like Kirby Joseph, because he is the embodiment of what this team's attitude should be. It should be, and there's a couple guys that played with Stafford, a Decker, Frank Ragnow, but for the most part, it should be, Who? Number 9, who? Who are you talking about? Jameson Williams? And you saw the thumbnail. Shout out to Ryan, by the way, for making that for us. It's Stafford with the Williams on the back. But this is the approach I want every Lion heading into Sunday with. Sam Flannel, blinders on. I don't know this man. I've never seen him. I don't know. He's just another quarterback on the field. Let's go get him.
And you know the funny thing, and Kirby Joseph is one of these players, is that as much as it seems like Stafford was just here not that long ago, pretty much every single one of the Lions' top-end, high-end players, besides for a guy like Frank Ragnow or even Taylor Decker, they don't know what it's like to play with Matthew Stafford as their quarterback. Like Panay, Amon-Ra, Aiden Hutchinson, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, you can go to David Montgomery, who was just signed. Like, all of these guys, all they know is playing with Jared Goff as their Detroit Lions quarterback. And at this point, I mean, we also have another number 9 in Jameson Williams. I just think that was an interesting and good post by Kirby to just put that out there, because at this point, all Matthew Stafford is the person that could be most responsible for breaking all of us Detroit Lions fans' hearts in the worst way. And you have to treat him like he's just any other enemy. And the good news is, a lot of these guys, I mean, Penei Sewell don't give a shit about Matthew Stafford. They just don't give a shit. They never played with him. He means nothing.
Penei Sewell, if you think he gives a damn about Matthew Stafford, then he look how he treated Aaron Donald.
Sure.
Like he don't give a damn about nobody. Nothing but the Tide, as some would say. But he really does not give a damn. That's why I love Panay. I love the attitude. I see this comment. I want to read it. Extreme Shaft says, Rams fans think this is going to be a cakewalk on Sunday. What Rams fans are you talking to? And I'm not saying you're wrong, but I hope that's not the sentiment, because that's not the right mindset to head into Ford Field with. It's different. And I've been seeing the quotes come out. I forgot who exactly said. I think Alex Anzalone, when he said, when the quarterback gets in the huddle, I want him to not, or his teammates not to be able to hear him. That's how loud I want the stadium. Now, when they break the huddle, you can quiet down a little bit, because obviously the defense they got to lock in. But still, Ford Field, standing room only, that environment, the most expensive playoff tickets in quite some time. But you got a lot of interesting storylines besides this Lions game. You got Tyreek Hill returning back and facing Kansas City. It just seems like this thing is just scripted. I mean, this is just perfect. These NFL playoffs are perfect, absolutely perfect. And if Rams fans are thinking this game is going to be easy, they got a long thing coming. It's going to be a problem.
Yeah, if when you're going on the road in a playoff game, you should never think that it's a cakewalk. But at the same time, maybe Rams fans, although I don't know how many of them there actually are, because you know how it is when you go to Los Angeles, especially at Chargers games. It's filled up with opposing teams' fans. Maybe they're somewhat satisfied because they watched their team win a Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and to some extent it's house money. I can understand that sentiment, but at the same time, you should never be predicting a cakewalk win when you are a road team. And that's why I say, and you kind of alluded to it as well, whoever said that, I haven't seen any Rams fans say that it's a cakewalk. I can see, if you're a Rams fan, some of the advantages that your team might have. You might be thinking, oh yeah, Puka Nacua can go for $150, and I don't blame you for that. I mean, I don't think any of us really can, but at the same time, how are you going to stop the Lions offense? That's what you guys should worry about too, because as much as they have some good rookies, as much as they have some good lesser known guys, you're not just going to win a game with Aaron Donald on defense. I mean, you can come pretty close, but even now he's not what he once was. So So Rams fans, I think for the most part they're actually being pretty humble and understand. I've never seen anyone say that it's going to be a cakewalk. I mean, is that just like a straw man?
Well, to get confirmation, people are saying, and I might have seen this, I'd have to check on this, but most people's the money's on the Rams.
Okay.
Money line and spread.
Ooh, so
there is. But again, can you blame, if you're a bettor, and we're Lions fans, so we know this team in a different fashion. If you're just some guy in Idaho and you're placing a bet, I don't even know if Idaho you can gamble, who knows. But anywhere else, I just thought Idaho first. Why the hell would you bet on the Lions? You don't know what's going on. You're like, I just hear same old Lions. I don't know what this franchise is. They got a playoff game. Something's going to happen. It's the Lions. Mm-hmm. But we understand it's different. We understand it's completely different. And that's why the whole same old Lions conversation comes up. I just don't partake in it, because to me, there's not a playoff win that can eliminate it. It's not winning the Super Bowl, although that'd be great. To me, it's more about the organization, what's changed with the organization. That's to me, same old Lions. Same old Lions is hiring brothers, cousins, and friends. Like, that's same old Lions. Not what Sheila Ford Hamp has been doing. That's not same old Lions to me. So for us, we understand this is a very different team. Very different. And for people to put their money on the Rams, KG, and on the money line on the spread, go ahead. Lions actually play better when they're underdogs.
You're right, of course. But I mean, like you said, how can you blame them? They don't really know this team intimately like we do. We know things are different here. Things have been different for quite a while here, just being real. But I expect the Lions to come out and shock the world. Not necessarily from a sense of, it's the Lions, but just showing people that we've been consistent all year. We've met all the expectations that people have for us, and I feel like we're going to shatter them. This wild card game, I expect them to come out and play their best football that they've played all year long, all three phases. So we'll see, man, but I'm so looking forward to Sunday.
What about you, JB? Where are you at with this whole thing?
You know what? The betting public has kind of been down on Michigan as a whole as of lately. Sam, you know this for sure when the whole betting public was on Alabama. And then afterwards, it was on Washington. And now as you see it once again, everyone is on L.A. And we all know the end results of those two games. So I feel like this one is going to be just the same. Detroit comes out on top once again and shows the betting public why you can't fade us anymore.
There we go. Funky says, I follow a Rams guy, and he's not screaming a blowout. He thinks the Rams will win, but he's seeing that way because McVay knows Goff's tendencies, and Campbell doesn't know Stafford like that. Well, I mean, I get what you're saying, Funky, and certainly for that Rams, whoever the Rams fan is, a Rams guy, that doesn't really apply. Like I know Sean McVay knows Goff, but it's not like Dan Campbell doesn't know Stafford. Like there's a thing called film, and he watches a ton of it, and you know tendencies. I just saw a heat chart yesterday, which it's just all this new technology coming out, but there's a heat chart of Matthew Stafford's throws, and it's literally sidelines and up straight up the field. There's no, like, the seams are just completely empty. Like, there's so much technology now. I'm sure Dan knows Stafford and what he likes to do. I wouldn't say he doesn't know Stafford. There's certainly an argument for McVay, but he's not coaching the defense. He's probably just like, hey, Goff likes to do this. He likes to do this. I wouldn't believe too much I wouldn't say they're going to win because of that, because Campbell doesn't know Stafford. That doesn't, no.
I understand that, but you can't just dismiss that Sean McVay was Jared Goff's coach when Jared Goff developed into a good quarterback with the Rams. Remember, Jared Goff's first year was with Jeff Fisher as his coach, and he was absolutely awful, but it wasn't really his fault. Sean McVay is an offensive genius. I think we would all agree with that.
And I don't think Goff's the same quarterback he was.
He's not.
Like, I think he's matured
He's
a lot.
better.
His game's matured.
But Sean McVay knows Jared Goff, or at least he knows what he was. And I get it. Maybe Jared Goff's a little bit different and that he's more mature. And I think he's playing the best football of his career. I just don't think you can completely discount that. But I agree with you that it doesn't mean that the Rams are going to have this massive, massive advantage. Because as you said before, Jared Goff, even though he put up some good numbers with the Rams and was pretty good, he is playing the best football of his career right now with the Lions.
This one, It Hip says, yeah, come on, that's a dumb argument. Goff is in a totally different offense too. Yeah, I'm not going to discount it. Saying I don't want to act like, yeah, Sean McVay, he knows Goff, but that doesn't matter. It matters, but I don't think that's going to factor into the game. It comes down to, hey, just don't throw interceptions. Just don't turn the ball over. I think that's more important. Let's go to break. We have John Maakaron waiting. We'll ask him some questions regarding this game on Sunday and some of the things he's hearing from Allen Park. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Premier Pet.
Yes, Premier Pet. Give your pet the best like I give my pet the best. My golden retriever Jake and my orange cat Milo. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet stores. Same prices and all the conveniences of the online and big box retailers. With one major difference, family and locally owned and operated for 30 plus years. Over 60 brands of food with nutrition experts to help you. Same day, local curbside and home delivery. Premier Pet Supply, give your pet the best. Visit their website at premierpetsupply.com.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White and Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Jack Labrador. As we say RIP to the same old Lions, but it's also RIP to the same old rock, paper, scissors. Jack Labrador, more of an upgraded version of rock, paper, scissors, is a lot of fun. And they now have you can have the ability to go play it online. Yes, online. There's a deck of cards you can check out if you scan the QR code above. But if you're at home, on your computer, on your phone, head to www.jacklabrador.gg and you can play versus CPU and try it out for yourself. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It is Thursday, which means Thursdays with John Maakaron joining the show. Welcome to the show, John. Publisher All Lions and host of the Detroit Sports Podcast. John, how you feeling this morning? Big game this weekend. It feels like this week is just, you got Michigan winning the national championship. You got Rams at Lions. Like, storyline galores. Just a ton of them.
Absolutely, boys. I'm pumped. Perma-smile. I've been excited since it was announced that the Lions were playing the Rams. It's been a great week. Everybody's into it. Even the Matthew Stafford, Kelly Stafford nonsense. Everybody's into everything going on. Look, we've waited a long time for this opportunity. First time at Ford Field. The fans are going to go crazy. It's well-deserved for this football team to host a home playoff game. I'm pumped. Can't wait to talk about it. I'm more hopeful than I've ever been. I think the Lions are going to put forth their best effort, like you boys are saying, and it's going to be a culmination of a great season.
I want to ask you, because the biggest storyline of the quarterbacks is Matthew Stafford returning to Ford Field, and you have Jared Goff facing the Rams. At least for Jared, in kind of the path to victory for the Lions. You see some of these comments too. People bet on the Rams, the money line, the spread, and trust me, I've been high on the Rams all year. I didn't think the Lions would play them, so now it's a little different. Now I got to walk a little back and be like, well, here's how the Lions can beat the Rams, even though I'm hyping up the Rams. But to you, what's the path to victory for the Lions, and how tough of a matchup is this, facing one of the hottest teams in the NFL?
Yeah, supremely tough. I think the fan base is going to go on an emotional roller coaster on Sunday. If you're at home, I've been saying it all week, pop your Xanax. Maybe take 2 of them. Pop your Xanax and get ready. This one's going to be close. I think that when you look at it, it's 2 evenly matched teams. 2 teams that don't have a lot of playoff experience. Yeah, there's some veterans on both sides, namely the quarterbacks. And I think the pathway for victory for the Detroit Lions is to get after Matthew Stafford. You realize that offense is potent with Nakua and Cooper Kupp. So for the Detroit Lions, I had a chance to talk to Charles Harris yesterday in the locker room. And I asked him, I said, hey, you got a quarterback in Matthew Stafford, gets the ball out quick. And he said, yeah, Matthew's a legend, but the bull rush maybe is not going to be the technique in the fact that Stafford gets the ball out. At times, you got to take calculated risks, but the coverage and the pass rush for the Detroit Lions have to come. Aiden Hutchinson has to deliver. Hopefully he's riding high this week in a great mood, will continue his streak of solid play. You got to disrupt the Rams offense. You can't let them get into rhythm. And I think that Matthew Stafford is primed to throw the Lions a couple interceptions. In big games, it always comes down to those obviously finer points. Who commits the less mistakes, who pays more close attention to details. And I think it's going to be the Lions. Having this game at Ford Field means so much to this football team. And I think the Lions are going to bring it, and they're going to play a very clean and detailed game.
All right, John, so I want to go to the Rams defense versus the Lions offense. Is there anything the Rams do defensively, any matchups, any players that you think could give the Lions trouble, or do you think the Lions are going to, for the most part, be able to, I don't want to say score at will, but put up a lot of points?
Yeah, it's when you look at the defense, you obviously are going to pay attention to Aaron Donald and Kobe Turner. Had a chance also yesterday, got around the locker room, scooted around, in an important week, talked to Jonah Jackson. I said, hey, man, you got a tough week. You got Aaron Donald and Kobe Turner on your side. And he smiled and he said, John, this is what we live for. It's a contract year. I got to show my stuff. And this is what this football team is excited. Yeah, you want to be concerned with Jared Goff because he's a statue. And in just like any quarterback, in the face of pressure, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, their QBR rating goes way down. So if the offensive line brings it, I expect Jared Goff to be able to move the football. You realize that even without Sam Laporta, if he's not available, the Lions have a lot of weapons to be able to move the football. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs could break out. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to bring it. You also realize maybe still underrated, but still a solid piece is David Montgomery in the red zone, a guy that when he gets going behind this offensive line is going to be an integral part of this offense. So I think the Lions, when you look at the Rams defense, you can get them through the air. But at the same time, the Detroit Lions are a football team that always wants to establish the run and be able to move the football. But the offensive line better keep Jared upright, because if you start seeing Jared Goff scrambling, panic, because it's going to be a nightmare and there could be some mistakes.
John, my mind goes when I first started breaking down this matchup, my number one concern, it starts with this Lions secondary, because it seems like over the last handful of games, and there's been games all season, they just can't stop a number one wide receiver. It is what it is. They just can't. And now you're getting help back. You get C.J. Gardner-Johnson back. We'll see with James Houston. You nailed it. The pass rush is everything, John, because it's not just a number one wide receiver. They got a Triple Crown winner and a guy who just broke the rookie receiving record. This is different. It's not like it's similar last week in some ways. You have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, but these guys are to me, Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in football, but this one, they're both great. Where are you at with just the matchup, those two receivers versus this secondary? Because I think that could change the game to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Aaron Glenn has openly said it. The Lions defense are not the 85 Bears. They're not going to shut out the Rams. What the Lions defense is going to hope for is, look, you realize, okay, all year long, receivers have been able to get theirs. They're going to get theirs. Stafford will make plays. You will see Cooper Kupp with some explosives. Nakua is looking like now he's going to be a special wideout. But in the end, what has to happen is when in the bend don't break style of defense is if the Rams get into the red zone, you limit them to field goals. And look, I think that the addition of C.D. Deuce to this defense, hopefully James Houston and Aleem McNeil stepping it up even further, you realize that for Aaron Glenn, you got to take calculated risks and pressure Matthew Stafford at just the right time. Two key players as well outside of the secondary, Jack Campbell and Alex Anzalone. If they're able to stop the run and do their business, and look, really in the end, it's basic fundamental football that you allow obviously stuff underneath, and tackling is important where you limit those guys to 5-6 yards potentially. And then really in a game like this, how you want to approach it is on first down, you want to make it so that the Rams offense has to get behind the chains. And so you're hoping that you don't get into too many third and short situations. If you can do that, you really play from an advantage. But look, man, it's the NFL. I think Sunday primetime, it's going to be, I think, conducive to a high-scoring game. And just like the Lions have done, limit the points. It doesn't look pretty, but in the end, they make the plays when needed. If you can limit the touchdowns, I think that your offense can do enough to get you the W.
So I want to talk very briefly about Kyren Williams, the Rams running back, who I would say has given Matthew Stafford his best running game that he's probably ever experienced as a quarterback, at least in terms of a number one running back. Should Lions fans, or should we be concerned at all about Kyren Williams, or do you think it's going to be another case of the Lions defense just whenever they go up against a good running back, they pretty much just get nothing and like it? Is it going to be the same with Kyren Williams, or is he a concern?
That's the mission. You've seen it on film. When Kyren Williams does not get 100 yards, Rams don't win. So that's the plan, is to be stout against the run, and I have full confidence that will happen. Key player Jack Campbell has been solid when you look at his PFF numbers. You realize that the defensive line has been stout. I think John Kaminsky getting that rest bodes well. So there's reasons to be confident. I just think that at times I understand when people look at Aaron Glenn's defense, sometimes gives too much cushion, doesn't at times adapt as best as many people would like. But I do have confidence that the back end is going to make plays. And guys, big time players make big time plays. And a guy to pay attention to is Brian Branch. I think that with Cooper Kupp maybe getting some run in the slot, you realize Brian Branch will have a nice opportunity this week maybe to get his hands on the football. But with Kyren Williams, yeah, he's obviously a great running back. But I do think that the Lions are going to keen in on making sure that you try and make Matthew Stafford be pressured and be very uncomfortable at Ford Field. Alex Anzalone said it. He said, hey, here's the challenge, guys, and you're going to read about it. Don't cheer when after the fact when the Rams are breaking the huddle. Cheer loudly and be disruptive as the Rams are huddling, because that will make it nearly impossible for the Rams and to potentially disrupt the Rams offense. So it's going to be great to see, man. Aaron Glenn, hey, if you're going to earn one of these head coaching jobs, then you got to bring it this Sunday against the Rams offense, man. They're going to try and do some things.
And I don't want to discount the impact that Laporte has. He's one of the best tight ends in the league as a rookie. But, John, my argument to that, and I get why people would be concerned because he's your number 2 wide receiver technically. But at the same time, this is a similar team that last year went 8-2 without Sam Laporta. I still have a confidence that this team could still win on Sunday with the Brock Wright, with the James Mitchell. Where are you at with Sam Laporta? What's your guess? I know Dan hasn't officially confirmed if he's going to play or not, but where are you at with Sam? You think he'll play? And if let's just say he doesn't, where's your confidence level at for this Lions team?
Yeah, my guess would be that he doesn't play. I think that you do have to also look at the long-term future. You don't want to risk further injury. I think it's truly 50-50 at this point. I think it was great and encouraging that Dan Campbell said it's a matter of days, not weeks. So we'll know more Thursday and Friday if Sam practices. He didn't practice on Wednesday. But, yeah, it's a big blow. No doubt about it. Sam Laporta really emerged as a really solid target for Jared Goff and a security blanket. But at the same time, you still can sprinkle in other weapons. And guess who's back? Jamison Williams is going to be somebody that maybe now can get targeted a little bit more, get that 1 or 2 explosive plays to open up the offense for the Lions. I think if the Lions can get a couple explosive plays, man, that just really bodes well for Jared Goff. So I think that the Lions have enough. Yeah, obviously you would love to have Sam Laporta. I think that would give people a lot more comfort. But I'm going into this game hopeful that the Lions and their coaching staff, who have a plethora of experience, are going to have this football team well prepared. Just the mood in the locker room is calm. Everybody's ready to go. They're not making it too much of a big deal. And one player I did talk to as well, James Mitchell. He's going to have an opportunity. I think that, remember, that I know that 2/3 of the year he didn't get a lot of targets. But, look, all year long, what have you seen? And all you can do is go on film. The next man up mentality, I know in years past, when a guy went down, that was it. The roster had no depth. James Mitchell told me, hey, it's an opportunity. And anytime a player gets an opportunity, maybe even with Brock Wright, that's why I think the Lions haven't gone out and signed Zach Ertz, is that they believe, look, our system is draft and develop. And just because a key player goes down does not sink the Lions season. And I'm truly confident this coaching staff will have this team ready. I'm not scared. I'm not sounding alarms like some people will. I just watched a football team win 12 games, tight games. Dan Campbell says scarred to perfection. I've been scarred to perfection. I'm ready to see this football team win late. Will my heart rate be very high in a close game? Of course, naturally. But in the end, the Lions have showed you they'll make plays when they need to, and it's going to be tight, but this team's going to win. This team's going to win this game.
And the last question for you, John. You see all the stuff, and I know you see it too. The Stafford, you're banned from wearing Stafford jerseys, which that should just be an obvious thing. You shouldn't be wearing a Stafford jersey on Sunday. But people, and I've seen people talk about this, and I actually agree with it, that we focus the conversation this week on Stafford, that we kind of forget Goff and like how much motivation he has to face the Rams. I know he's faced them already in the regular season, but this is different. He has an opportunity to bring a playoff win to Detroit, first time in over 30 years. Where are you at with just that storyline for Goff? And of course, this could be one of those games that, again, cement him potentially as a franchise quarterback for the Lions for long term.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look, I kind of came up, made my chops in the Detroit Sports Podcast by being one of the people that was the loudest against Matthew Stafford. Far too many Matthew Stafford nut huggers throughout his tenure. He brought you shit. Nothing. After 5-6 years, anybody with a rational brain would have said, let's move on from Matthew Stafford. And I literally took so much heat for years because my stance was, oh my goodness, why are the Lions going to pay Matthew Stafford $25 million? Everybody online was like, you got to pay it. You got to pay it. That's the going rate for a quarterback. But my mindset was, I have a simple question. Is Matthew Stafford going to bring you anything in this run that he's going to have? My answer was no. It's clear. Throws too many picks, is not mobile, and I think that a player that is going to give you heartbreak. Now, did I think he was going to quit on the team? No. But I thought that Matthew Stafford was a total waste of time in Detroit. So now, oh, great, everybody can say, oh, he went out and won a Super Bowl somewhere else. That does jack shit for me here in Detroit. So I recognized pretty early on that Stafford, it wasn't going to happen here. So they moved on. Unfortunately, they went and got a clone. They got the same guy. And it's unfortunate in that I look at it like this. Jared Goff's a good quarterback, will win you big games, can do some things. But at the same time, I'm looking at the way the league goes, and I think that you need a quarterback that can be elusive in the face of pressure. Now, maybe Jared Goff will prove me wrong. I hope he does. I was the one that first asked Jared Goff when he got into town, hey, you got a chip on your shoulder for being traded to Detroit? You know, you're traded to this situation? And he said, yeah, I got a chip on my shoulder. And that's the best thing that ever happened to Jared Goff, was being cast aside, being called a nobody, being called a throw-in. So he's got the ultimate motivation. But in the end, he's got to step his game up. He's got to do things and be comfortable in the face of pressure, some things that he's not good at. So can he do it? Yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Would I predict it? No. I think the Lions are definitely they got the bridge quarterback that they absolutely needed, the perfect one. But this is an opportunity for him to go out there and show it, manage the game. But guys, look, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Jared Goff throws turnovers, fumbles the football. That's been his MO in big games. So you hope he turns it around. You hope that the narrative changes for Jared Goff. But I think that the love fest for Matthew Stafford was out of pocket and out of order, because the man brought you nothing. He was a loser in Detroit. And I just thought that this fan base that still wears the jersey, why are you supporting losers? We support winners here in Detroit.
Damn, John. Just dropping bars on the morning. This is why Thursdays with John
We
Maakaron.
kind of needed this energy this week, though, because
we did.
Stafford is the enemy, and you were more candid. You were more candid about it than anybody that even on this network, on any show that I've partaken in listening to. So good for you, John. That was a nice little soliloquy.
And to your point, John, about Jared Goff, if there's anybody you want a fire under their ass for, to me it's Jared. And that's for a lot of professional athletes, but for him playing with this fire, I kind of like it. So we'll see what kind of Jared we get on Sunday. Thanks, John, a lot. You can check out all Lions, Rams stuff on Publisher. He's also a publisher of all Lions. You can check out his stuff. And I'm sure I'm not going to ask for a score prediction. I know you'll have it for the people. I learned my lesson the first time I asked you. But, John, thank you so much. We'll see you next Thursday. Hopefully we can recap a playoff win. Hopefully.
Absolutely. Guys, enjoy the moment. And I just think that this is something that the Detroit Lions have been waiting for. It'll be really topping off what I think is going to be a special season. Feed me Lions, Cowboys too. I need it. I think the Lions win, and Dan Campbell makes his bones, man. Winning in the playoffs is so key, and I can't wait to see it. I'll be there.
No question. All right. Appreciate you, John. You can check him out, too. He's a host of the Detroit Sports Podcast. He's a good friend of ours, and he crushes it. I needed that energy today. I needed that energy from John Maakaron. He just brings it. Let's go to break. When we come back, we'll get into more of the Lions-Rams conversation, of course, because I do got some footage I want to show the people. Jared Goff speaking to the media, poor Eric Woodyard, and then we have some Rams presser footage with Matthew Stafford. Talking about facing the Lions, talking about returning back to Ford Field. It's good stuff. You wouldn't want to hear it. Right now, though, got to tell you about our friends over at Planet Fitness. So let me do that. Planet Fitness is the place. Your fitness is essential, and you can experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, full body workout, and just 30 minutes. And all memberships include fitness training. You'll get all of this for just $10 a month. No commitment. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. More than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. Planet Fitness, your fitness is...
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Co. has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks, or you can order online at fairwaypacking.com. Good stuff from John Maakaron. It's always fun. We're going to get more into it, though, Lions-Rams. I want to play some footage here. You have them both, JB?
Yeah.
Perfect. We'll start with Stafford. We'll start with what he had to say about, if they asked, I'm sure he's been getting flooded with these questions about just returning back to Ford Field. But here's his answer on just the matchup with the Lions.
What kind of reception do you expect to get back in the Ford Field?
I'm not expecting anything, to be honest with you. I was asked this question a couple times, just by friends and family, and I think the biggest thing for me is just go experience whatever that experience is going to be. I understand, what the people of Detroit and what the city of Detroit meant to me in my time and my career, what they meant to my family. I hope they feel that back, but at the same time, I'm not a stranger to the situation and understanding that I'm the bad guy coming to town. I'm on the other team, and they don't want success for me. So whatever happens. I'm going to go experience it, play the game. Once the ball snapped, man, let's go. Two good football teams, go compete and see what happens.
Wow, well said from Stafford. He didn't. There's nothing there for any drama reasons. He just said it very PC,
Which he's a nice guy, meteor guy.
Yeah, that's who Stafford was. You're not going to get anything controversial from him. He's still the enemy, though. All right, you can't warm me up, Stafford. You're still the enemy, and they're going to crush you on Sunday. But then Jared Goff spoke to the media as well. And here's what he had to say. This is per Eric Woodyard on Twitter from ESPN. Shout out to him. He took this video. This is Jared speaking about just facing the Rams and his relationship with Sean McVay.
I think he's a great coach. I think he's, obviously we had our differences there at the end, but he's a great coach. He's done a lot of great things. And, he's a guy that taught me a lot.
Motivation, obviously, speaks for itself this week, but is there anything extra, playing against your old team, your old coach?
I think, no. I mean, obviously there's a personal connection there. They're not just for me, but for a lot of our players and some of theirs as well. But no, I think I so badly want to win a game for this city and win a playoff game for this city that hasn't had one in so long. We got a home playoff game for the first time in so long. That's so much more important than anything personally for me. I want to be a part of this win and do my job the best of my ability.
What was your initial reaction when you found out that y'all could be facing them? It's kind of like a storybook thing, I guess, in your sense. What was your reaction that was going to be your opponent for the first?
Yeah, it was kind of tracking there for a few weeks, so wasn't surprised or anything. Just something that we knew could happen. Obviously, it was probably either them or Green Bay going into that last week, and when it became them, we said ready to go. Let's go do it.
That is per Eric Woodyard on Twitter. Shout out to him, ESPN. He does great work. And Jared, the thing about Jared Goff, and I know people spend a lot of time talking about Stafford, and I kind of asked John that question too about how big of a game this is for Jared. And I do think it's equally a big game for both. I think it's more so for Jared because of the stakes, because of Stafford already got the Super Bowl, so if they lose, it is what it is. Still a lot of pressure on him, but for Jared, I will say this. I'm glad you have a quarterback with his experience. He's won a lot of playoff games. He's been in these type of environments. He's played in NFC Championship games. He's played in a Super Bowl. If you could pick anybody at this time, a guy like Jared Goff, it is perfect that you have him leading this team on Sunday. It's perfect.
How big is it for Jared Goff in this game? Massive.
It is, though.
I cannot even overstate it enough because here's the thing. Jared Goff is a guy who has done a lot of good things in Detroit these last couple of seasons. And even at the end of his first season when they kind of started the turnaround that has been continued on to now, the reality is that I think most people before the season started, and I think a lot of people right now would say the minimum for a successful season is win the division and one home playoff win. And the thing about Jared Goff, too, is, and I know this is something that me and our old comrade Lucas Klotz used to argue about a lot, is what is the definition of dog? Is it something that you can necessarily quantify? But in this situation, if Jared Goff uses the chip on his shoulder that I hopefully he still has, that hopefully, and I believe it has carried him through his time in Detroit, and has that extra motivation to play his best against his ex, basically, that seemingly moved on and did better than they ever did without him than with him, that would show me a lot about Jared Goff. It would show me a lot if he could play in this game without his number one tight end, Sam Laporta. We don't know for sure if he's not going to play or not, but if he's able to win this game and play well without everything around him perfect, that would be I think that would change a lot of hearts, or at least make people more open to changing their hearts about Jared Goff, because right now we have to just get behind him 110%, because at the end of the day, if he were to help deliver the Lions some playoff success, the type of playoff success that us Lions fans have never experienced, then there is a pathway for him to being the guy. There is a pathway to maybe even at some point talking about an extension. But right now, what can be accomplished this season is all that we should really be thinking about. And if the things like, if they win their first playoff game and things around them kind of fall into place, the sky really could be the limit. So for Jared Goff, the amount of legacy changing in the positive way that can be done, I think cannot be overstated. But at the same time, if he plays poorly and the Lions lose, then there's really nothing you can say other than, damn, a lot of these people who had some questions were right. But I don't think he will. I do think the Lions will win. I do think Jared Goff will play well, but it really has kind of been a little too under the radar, I think, what this could mean for Jared Goff as opposed to Stafford.
Yeah, and it's very simply put, KG and JB, it's Jared Goff fighting his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend, street fight style.
Yeah.
Like, it's straight up in the street, and you got his ex-girlfriend watching, too.
And
like, she's sitting there watching.
He got cheated on in Cabo.
Yeah. That damn Cabo, man.
Right,
gets
man.
people in trouble.
Hot tub and all that. But no, Goff understands the significance of this game and what this would mean for this team. Like Flannel said, it's going to be massive. And, you know, a lot of us, including myself, we appreciated what Matt Stafford did while he was in a Lions uniform. But what do a lot of people measure Matthew Stafford by? His playoff success, in which he had none. If Goff can come in and win this playoff game for us, that'll be absolutely huge. Give us some of that success that we've been lacking for so long. Mm-hmm. I really look forward to what he's going to give us. I think he's going to have a really big game. Like I've said before, he's built for this. He's not only been to a Super Bowl, he performs well in prime time. So I just look forward to what he's going to give us on Sunday. Hopefully, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over, we should be fine.
And that's what it comes down to, JB, for Jared. Like, for me, I don't need Jared to go out there and statistically blow me away. Like, I that's not what I'm asking from Jared Goff. And this is another opportunity for Jared to prove, and if he wants to prove to Sean McVay, so be it. I don't think he really cares at this point. Maybe he does. I don't know. I don't know Jared Goff. But this is an opportunity to show that he's grown tremendously, JB, because previous playoff runs with Jared Goff, he never really statistically blew you away. He was, if you look at the numbers, it's essentially game manager numbers in the playoffs. So this is an opportunity with this new Jared, with how he's been playing in Detroit, playing really well, you know, throwing for almost 5,000 yards a year, you know, throwing near 30 touchdowns. He threw 30 this year. This new Jared, he's got to display that on Sunday. But at the same time, they could win this game without him having to display that. But it'd be nice if Jared went out there and was like, listen, no turnovers, clean game. I'm going to be efficient, and let's get this win. To me, Jared just can't turn the football over. I don't give a damn what happens statistically. Just don't turn the football over. That's kind of been the thing that's been haunting Jared and the narrative around Jared for a lot of his career until he got to Detroit, really.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That's absolutely fair. You don't need Jared to go out here and, you know, be the all-star QB, but you just need him to go out there and play a clean game.
That's it.
No more interceptions, no more fumbles. We don't need this. We just need you to go out there and play a clean game. Both of these quarterbacks stepped up to the podium and basically gave the PC answer of like, hey, you know, there's no hostility. You know, I'm not really thinking about not putting too much drama on it. They're lying. They know in the back of their heads, Jared Goff's like, hey, you gave up on me. That franchise gave up on me. You don't think I'm not gonna go out there and ball out? Come on. And Matthew Stafford's coming back to his home or his former hometown to sit here and play in Ford Field in a playoff game, something that he couldn't do for us for a very long time. So you got to think that they have a little bit of drama that they want to put and attach towards this game. Both of them are going to be fueled up for it. But as far as Jared Goff goes, like I said, he just needs to play a very clean game. That is it. We're not asking you to do too much. but we don't need you to do the bare minimum. Just do a clean game.
Yeah, Funky says Stafford could throw for 400 yards and 4 TDs. I don't care as long as the Lions win. Yeah, that's
exactly.
It's the bend, don't break thing. This comment, Mike Bell, JG helped lead us to a first division championship that is far greater than anything Stafford accomplished in 12 years. Yeah, you're correct. But this is where I'm at with this, okay, guys? And I got to walk a fine line with this. And it's not even hating on golf. I just think people pick and choose when to call football a team game.
Oh,
yeah, that's true.
I think that's when
1000%.
people, it's whatever fits their narrative. Like, for example, Jared Goff brought yes, he did. He's the quarterback. But let's not act like you have an offensive line that's the best in the NFL. You have the best running back. Like, let's give credit to more than just Jared, guys. It's not a direct comparison. Like, Stafford had 1,000-yard rusher. You almost had 2, like, in his whole career in Detroit. Like, I'm not, again, it's not crapping anything for Goff. It's just that kind of annoys me when we pick and choose. Like, we always say quarterback wins. It's kind of hard to measure because it's a team game. But for this, it's like, yeah, the quarterback wins matter. Yep. Jared Goff's better than Stafford. All right.
No, I understand why this is the time to walk the fine line, and I know what you're doing there, but yeah, it's not, to me, it's not just as simple as like Jared Goff's won the division. He's already better in Detroit than Stafford. And I know John Maakaron just got off here and was talking about how much he didn't like Stafford as the quarterback of the Lions. But the reality too is they did go 70 consecutive games without an 100-yard rusher. I know Neil Rule was talking about that one year where Reggie Bush had 1,000 and Joique Bell had over 500, but that was just 1 year. The following 4 seasons after that, the Lions did not have a 100-yard rusher in one game ever. And I'm not trying to defend Stafford or anything like that because this isn't the week to do it. It's just context.
And just to put a cherry on top, this is why to me it's a different. The same old Lions thing is dead because how they're constructing this team is just different.
Yes.
You're not going to see the Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes be like, all right, we're going to have a bottom of the pack O-line and we're not going to have a run game. No, they understand that. We need a run game. We need one of the best O-lines in the league. This is how we're going to operate. So it's just very different from an organizational standpoint. That's why, I love how the Lions are run now. And I think Jared Goff right now has an opportunity this weekend to bring Detroit something they've been starving for, and good on him. I think Lions fans, hey, they're going to be on board with that. Nick says, Jeff can't decide whether he wants to defend Stafford or not. No, I've been defending Stafford. I've been defending Stafford for a while now. I just don't think it's fair for me this week to sit and just defend Stafford.
Sure.
Trust me, if you watch the show, you know how I feel about Stafford. But I'm saving that. He's the enemy this week. I just want to get some things clear. That's all. I just want to make sure I get some facts correct. I don't agree with some things. But, yes, I'm not defending Stafford this week. The dude can kick rocks. I hope I'm going to watch what I say. I'm not going to go Sam Flannel and say knock him out the game, but I hope they completely obliterate the Rams this weekend. And I hope Stafford has his worst playoff game of his entire career. Like, I don't give a damn about defending Stafford this week. I just saying my opinion on certain things. Let's go to break. When we come back, we'll get into Top 10 Thursday now. We'll preview our Top 10 teams heading into the playoffs, which is important. Who's the best teams going into the playoffs? Where are the Lions ranked? We'll get into all that when we come back. But right now, got to hear about our friends from Swiss Insurance.
Do you have football on the brain? Of course you do. With Michigan winning a national championship and the Lions about to play their first home playoff game in 30 years. You know what you should do to celebrate? Shop your home and auto insurance, of course. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at SwissINS.com or call 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
At Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 12th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating. Always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, January 12th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
You know it's football season because Glorious Cannabis has dropped their new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. It smells so good it's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years, which will come on Sunday. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in honor of our Detroit football team. And if you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, then I don't know what you're waiting for. Get to a Dispo dispensary near you or check them out online at gloriouscanna.com.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network, and I love this. I do, and I want to read some comments that are coming in, and I want to make sure I respond to these just to clear some of the air up. Because Burn, Classic Jeff can't take a stance, even though I just took a stance. But regardless, Stafford is the enemy and never won us anything, but hey, let's not slander him too much. I'm not going to go the Neil Rule route of saying, who's scared of Stafford? Like, that to me is a clueless take. Like, I'm not going to go that route. You guys, the Lions fans can eat that up all you want. For me, my job is to be realistic. I got to acknowledge that this game's going to be tough. This is not going to be easy. Stafford isn't a bum. Sorry, guys. Like, Neil Rule, who's scared of Stafford? Okay, trust me, those two receivers are a problem, and we know that. So I just got to be more honest. You can bring up not taking a stance. I get it's a joke, but people run with it. But yes, I'm not going to sit here and disrespect Stafford because the Lions are playing him. To me, I'll let the fans do that. You guys are the die-hard, Honolulu Blue fans. I'll let you guys slander Stafford. Yes, I think the Lions will win. I do. But I don't have to go extra with it and be like, Stafford's a bum. He hasn't done anything in Detroit. To me, that is not getting the full picture, and I'm not going to go down that route. I think Jared Goff has an opportunity to cement himself as a franchise quarterback this weekend, and I think he most likely will do that because I think the Lions will win this game.
Well,
it's that simple. Is that a stance? Is that a good enough stance for you?
Not a real Lions fan.
Okay, I guess.
I'm kidding.
I guess not.
Jeff, you know where I agree with you. You know that, like, I kind of like you sometimes just can't be dishonest about things, and with new information you are allowed to change your opinion. That's always been my philosophy. It's always been a philosophy on the Morning Woodward Show. So Jeff Iafredi is certainly not a fence sitter. That was slanderous. That was
it's just funny. Like people like it's a joke. Neil was obviously kidding, but people actually believe. Jeff says, "When have I fenced?" Me is saying, "Well, I think the Lions can win, but also." The Rams will win like this, but then the Lions also, they might win like this. No, the Lions are going to win this football game. Like that, is that a stance? Yes, it is a stance.
Talk to him.
But I'm gonna tell you why the Rams, it's not going to be as easy as maybe Neil thinks. And people are going to eat that up, but I'm sorry, I got to tell you my honest opinion. I don't think the Rams are going to be, you're going to walk all over them. They're one of the hottest teams in the NFL for a reason. I'm just being honest with you. All right, let's get to Top 10 Tuesday because this is a great time to do this because we're doing Top 10 teams heading into the playoffs, which is very fitting. I'll start with you, Sam. Give me your Top 10 list.
All right, so at number 10, I have the Los Angeles Rams, which will probably make a lot of Lions fans happy because I do respect a lot of what they do. Obviously, Stafford, Kupp, Nakua, Kyron Williams, Aaron Donald, Kobe Turner, as John Maakaron said. But when I'm making my list, I'm also thinking about their potential playoff matches, and I think that they have a tough one at Detroit, and they're a wild card team, so I can't put them any higher than 10. At number 9, I have the Eagles, which is a team that not that long ago I think a lot of us had at number 1 on our lists. They ended the season obviously death spiraling. Their defenses has been trash. Jalen Hurts has been hurt for most of the year, and he's been a turnover machine. But I do like their matchup at Tampa Bay. I think they're going to win that one, and I think they're a team that could maybe turn it on come playoff time. Although when they most likely face the 49ers in the second round, they will most certainly lose. At number 8, I have the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins, the only reason I have them as high as they do is because of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. That's it. But they're playing in the cold at Kansas City, like the bitter, freezing cold 0 degrees, so I think that'll neutralize them. I know they have some Mostert and A-Chain, and they might be able to run against Kansas City, but that Kansas City defense is stout. But you know what's going to hurt the Dolphins? They are going to be playing without Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, and Andrew Van Ginkel. So
Andrew Van Ginkel.
Andrew Van Ginkel's I will die on the hill for Andrew Van Ginkel.
That's Van Ginkel.
So you're going to need to get after Patrick Mahomes if you're going to beat the Chiefs, and that is going to be a huge detriment in them not being able to do that. That's going to hurt them a lot. At number 7, I have the Cleveland Browns going to Houston to face the Texans. Obviously, I love what Joe Flacco has done to end the year. Amari Cooper, David Njoku have really had some of their best years of their career. David Njoku, certainly. Their defense, led by Myles Garrett, has been solid all year long, and I think they could go to Houston and win. I'm not saying that's necessarily my prediction, but you got to give them their credit where credit is due. At number 6, the Buffalo Bills. Those Bills winning their last 5 to steal the division out from under the Miami Dolphins. Impressive finish to the season. Josh Allen, although he had some silly turnovers, especially in the last game and in some other games this season, I do trust him come playoff time because his playoff numbers are actually really damn good. And he's had some great playoff games, and they have more of a running game this year than they ever have, and that defense is still stout, one of the better ones in the league. 5, Kansas City Chiefs. When it comes to the playoffs and playing at Arrowhead, you have to
still have faith in them.
You have to give them the benefit of the doubt, especially playing in the cold, going up against the Miami Dolphins. Patrick Mahomes, on a per-game basis, is the best postseason quarterback ever. Travis Kelce might be might be kind of saving it for the playoffs a little bit. Rashee Rice has emerged, but that defense, that Kansas City Chiefs defense, that's the one thing that you cannot deny. Even if you think their offense doesn't look the same, which it certainly has not, that Kansas City Chiefs defense could be what helps propel them to another run. They've never had a defense like this with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. It is their worst offense.
The defense.
But it is their best.
Because defenses win championships.
Defenses certainly do help win championships.
Just check the last couple Super Bowls.
I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying that might offset some of their offensive deficiencies. That's all I'm saying. Number 4, Detroit Lions. I don't need to go too much into detail on this one with how good the Lions are. I think it all depends on how much their defense can step up and get after Matthew Stafford and pressure him. But they're the NFC North champions. They have one of the best offenses in the NFL. You certainly have to put them. You have to put them high on the list. And of course, we all know that they have a home playoff game that I think they're going to win. At number 3, the Dallas Cowboys. Ooh. I know a lot of people aren't going to like me putting the Cowboys in front of the Lions. My thing is that the Cowboys' offense on paper has actually been better than the Lions, although slightly. I'll consider it a little bit of a wash. But the Cowboys, they have a better defense. They just do. They have better pass rushers. They have a better secondary. I know that the Lions technically, in a lot of ways, people think that they won that game or should have won that game, and that's fair. But on paper, I still got to put the Cowboys ahead. Boom. Number 2, San Francisco 49ers. We all know they're the best team in the NFC, the number 1 seed, have the most talent on both ends of the ball, sides of the ball, and the Baltimore Ravens at 1. Lamar Jackson is the MVP of the league. Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham have really stepped up. Isaiah Likely, that running game with Gus Edwards, Lamar Jackson, and then that defense led by Clowney and Justin Madubuike, Kyle Hamilton. Number 1 team in the NFL for sure. That is my perfect list that I think nobody will disagree with.
Well, I would disagree with this list because it is completely, not completely, but for the most part, I disagree with it. Throw out my list. Let's see what I got here. This is the right list, by the way. Here we go. Number 1, you had number 1 and 2 correct.
Ooh, Eagles at the bottom.
Congratulations. Number 1 and 2 are correct.
Sure. Obvious, yeah.
Baltimore Ravens at number 1. They're 13-4. That's clear. That's obvious. Number 2, San Francisco 49ers, 12-5. I don't need to speak on that. Those are the 2 best teams in each conference. Very clear. Number 3, the Detroit Lions. Yes, I have them over the Dallas Cowboys because I think heading into the postseason, they are the better team. I know Dallas, the game, it's not even about just the game itself, but I think if the Lions and Dallas Cowboys played each other again, there are matchup problems. I do think that favors the Lions. And you're right. On paper, the Dallas Cowboys defense has been better, but what Dallas Cowboys team are we getting in the playoffs? That's the question that I don't have an answer to. Number 4, I have the Dallas Cowboys, of course, for the reasons I just explained. I'm going to give the Detroit Lions a little bit more of a nod there. Number 5, I have the Buffalo Bills because they already beat your Chiefs.
They did. And they're not my Chiefs. I always feel like I have to say that.
Well, they beat your Chiefs. And Josh Allen had a monster game to end the season. So, hey, it is what it is. Buffalo, I think, is playing better, and I think it'll trend that way into the postseason. They're better to me going into the playoffs than the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs at 6. Defense, you're right. Defense looks great, but I don't have confidence, and I can't believe I'm saying this, and it's the first time I've been saying this. I've ever said this with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I don't have confidence in offense. I just don't, and especially in a playoff environment. They're actually worse this year at home, which is weird. So maybe it'll favor them on the road. I don't know. But regardless, I have them behind the Buffalo Bills. At number 7, I have the Miami Dolphins. They're an interesting one. They've lost some key pieces defensively, and I think they're going to get Jalen Waddle back, but they could run the football too. Achane and Mostert, I like they got a good run game. Tua just can't turn the football over, but regardless, they got Tyreek Hill, the best receiver in football. So I think, and they got Bruce Irvin, by the way. Yeah, retiree Bruce Irvin. You should make all the old jokes you want, so they might be taking quarterbacks out as well. So I got Miami at 7. Number 8, I have the Los Angeles Rams, and I have them over the Cleveland Browns, and I have them over the Philadelphia Eagles. And I've been consistent with this. I think the Rams are getting a little bit of disrespect here. And I've had this before. The Lions were matching up with the Rams. I just think the Rams are a better team than people give them credit for. They're 10-7. It was supposed to be a rebuild year from Sean McVay, and look at what they've done. 7-1 over the last 8, or 6-1 over the last 7, whatever it is. One of the hotter teams going into the playoffs. Number 9, I have the Cleveland Browns. I think this Joe Flacco story is just going to die pretty quickly. I do. I think his turnovers will catch up to him in the postseason. In the regular season, they were getting away with it. They have a great defense. I think it's going to come back to bite him in the ass in the postseason. That's my opinion. Number 10, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. I have no reason to believe that this team is trending upwards. Like, they deserve to be 10. They've lost, 4 or 5 straight. And now you got A.J. Brown banged up. Jalen Hurts is hurt. The offensive line doesn't look quite the same. Devontae Smith's banged up. The secondary's ass cheeks. Yeah, Philadelphia's 10 to me. We'll see how that trends. You got Nick Sirianni in the hot seat. It's a disaster in Philly. So that's my top 10 list. Any problem with it?
I mean, your list isn't that bad. I like, the thing is, our people in the chat are going to say that your list is like a million times better than mine, but it's not really that different. But I guess it's the little subtle differences that make the difference. Obviously, you put the Lions over the Cowboys, and I did not, but I could see why you would do it, especially when they met head to head. It was an even matchup, and the Lions did make the play that was called back due to ref incompetency. I could see why you put the Bills over the Chiefs. I don't think I should be penalized, as some would say, for giving the Chiefs the benefit of the doubt. I should not be considered a Chiefs nut hugger or anything like that for giving the Chiefs the benefit of the doubt.
I just think the Bills have won 5 straight, and they have big wins too. They beat Philly, they beat the Cowboys, they beat. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, they beat Philly, right?
They did not.
They beat the Cowboys and they beat the Chiefs. That's who it was.
And they beat the Dolphins at Miami with everything on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sorry. So a close game, actually overtime against Philly. So that's why I'm going to give the slight. If I'm being real with you, we've seen the years where Kansas City and Buffalo have went at it deep in the postseason. I think they both lose this year. I don't think those teams as constructed can make a deep playoff run. So I don't hate that you have the Kansas City Chiefs. There's only a handful of teams we believe can make a run to me in the playoffs. But I do believe if they matched up again, I would take Buffalo. I would.
Well, and it would be at Buffalo which would be the first. Man, that would be the first road playoff game Patrick Mahomes has ever played besides the Super Bowl. And even one of his Super Bowls was one of his Super Bowls was technically a road playoff game because it was at Tampa Bay the year where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat him, but Brady isn't lucky. But anywho, we'll save that discussion for another day. I don't necessarily have too many problems with the list. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles at 10, I had them a little higher at 9, but with the way that they have been playing, I wouldn't be mad if you had them at 8 or 7, and I wouldn't be mad if you had them off the list and you put the Texans on there or something like that. They have been that putrid. Their loss at New York to end the season, their losses at New York and home versus Arizona, where their schedule was supposed to be lightening up, were so putrid that it's just indefensible. They gagged away a division. But my thing is, I think they can still get it together, at least for one playoff win at Tampa. I think they are fortunate that is their matchup. I think they'll beat them.
Well, the other thing I see here, and Adam put this in, the Cleveland Browns. And me and you are a little different. He says the Browns have to be higher than Miami. No, they don't. And that's just my opinion. And I get why you would say that because the Browns defense, they got some weapons there. The Njoku's playing. Flacco revived Njoku. You got Amari Cooper. I get that. But my opinion on that whole conversation, Adam, is Joe Flacco, he's the reason they've been winning games, but he's going to be a big reason why they're going to lose these games. I'm telling you. I just don't believe in it. And maybe I'm off on that. I just think Joe Flacco, his turnovers, they're going to catch up to him. They got away with it in the regular season. I just think when the game you get, and Joe Flacco has experience. Remember that playoff run he had with the Ravens? 11 touchdowns, 1 pick, 0 pick, whatever it was. This is different. And it's been a great story. I just think the Browns fizzle out.
Well, and
I do.
That's fine. I put the Browns over the Dolphins, and I think that is correct. And one of the reasons I said is because the Dolphins, their pass rush is all injured. That's just
fair
one
too,
of those
and that's
unfortunate things. And the Dolphins in Miami, in sunny Miami, have to go play at Kansas City where there's going to be a negative wind chill. And I don't trust Tua Tagovailoa going on the road in a negative wind chill environment and playing well. I know Tyreek Hill had a lot of experience playing playoff games in cold weather against the Kansas City Chiefs, but somebody's got to get him the ball. And at the end of the day, we talk about all these quarterbacks and their turnovers. How about Tua this year against good teams? He has doo-dooed the bed a lot of times.
And here's why I made that decision to put the Dolphins over the Browns is because, yes, both Flacco right now in his career, he's a game manager. And then you have Tua, who you could say is a game manager. But the difference is I believe in the two running backs Miami has.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
So if we're talking game managing, running the football, taking care of the football, Jerome Ford has actually played really well, and they got Kareem Hunt. But if we're talking in the postseason, I got more faith in Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane.
That's fair, but I think you could also say that you have more faith in the Browns' offensive line. But I get it. There's arguments for both. JB, what do you got?
I was just going to add to the whole KC-Miami thing. It's a bit of bad news for Miami. They're 2-7 against the spread when weather is like this, and also 0-9 in weathers that are below 40 degrees. So it's not looking great for this Miami Dolphins team. So I'm actually siding with Sam and KC on this one for first round of the wild card.
I mean, that's the thing. They're playing and this means something because you see them on the road, you've seen them in their history. They play in the warmest environment in the entire NFL, and they're going to play a game below zero. That means something. It's not just going to be cold. It's going to be the type of cold where I think it's going to turn people off from even wanting to go to the game. I mean, have you seen the ticket prices? You can get in for like $65 at this point, and these are the Chiefs at home. So that's a great stat, JB, and I think that it makes sense given go from Miami to Kansas City, and I think Miami's a little bit finesse, I would say.
Yeah, you're not wrong there, and their defense with the injuries, it is a concern. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. But let's head to break here. When we come back, I want to bring up who made All-Pro first team. I want to show the people. It's announced. We'll see second team. I don't know if they already released it, but All-Pro first team is out. And I'm going to put up the graphic for you guys when we come back, and I just want you to see if there's anybody you'd add on there. And I got a person that I think was snubbed, and I'll make that argument when we come back. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at Big Boy, because wintertime in Detroit is always better. When you got comfort foods from Big Boy, you can get breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, whatever you desire. They have it. Stuffed potato pancakes, classic potato pancakes, also the new apple pie hotcakes. They're just too good to miss out on. Top it all off with a new gingerbread shake for dessert. Stop by our local Big Boy today.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new down-home comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The down-home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of down-home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. 18 locations. There's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest to you. And you can catch Woodward Sports Live every other Monday from Feldman Chevrolet in Novi to recap Lions games. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network, and it's time. I'm going to show the people All-Pro first team in the NFL. And JB, throw it up.
You want the offense or defense first?
Oh, they got both. You're a stud, JB. Let's start with defense. How about
defense?
that? We'll go defense. This is all pro first team. Here we go. Edge rusher, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby. No problem with that. Nose tackle, Dexter Lawrence. Chris Jones, off-ball linebacker, Roquan Smith, Fred Warner, cornerback, Deron Bland, Pat Surtain. I got no problem with any of these. Free safety, Jesse Bates. Strong safety, Kyle Hamilton. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, core special teamer. Look at that. But let's go to offense. That's where my problem is. Defense, I don't really have much to add here. I think it's fair. Now, look at the offense, okay? Quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Okay. I don't hate that. He's MVP. So, Adam Baydoun, I know you're watching. Remember, we debated that. Running back, Christian McCaffrey. Fullback, Kyle the Juice. I don't mind that at all. I mean, who has a fullback? You're voting between like two guys.
Should have been Kabinda.
Yeah,
he should have been in there.
Yeah, should have been Kabinda. Damn it. No, wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill. Don't have an issue with that at all. Tight end, Travis Kelce. Should have been George Kittle.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guy in over 1,000. I get, and this is voted on by players. So when you're asking a player, it's like, yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah, and
it's got to be Travis Kelce,
and
but
just,
it's not.
Just for the record, the one that is more widely accepted, the AP for all-pro teams, those come out later. This is the NFLPA one. This isn't the official one that gives the like the little crosses by people's names on Pro Football Reference.
This is just players all-pro first team.
Yes.
This is players. This isn't the official. This is just the players decide who should get it. It should be. I'm saying it should be George Kittle when it comes out. He should be all-pro first team.
100%. The only thing, and I know I've seen this a little bit too much, is that Travis Kelce did have a good year. He had a couple big games when the Chiefs went on their 6-game winning streak after they lost their first one to the Lions. Of course, he's not trash. It just seems like in the last, I don't know, month and a half or so, he seems a little disinterested and kind of slow, like he's lost a step. But he's second in the NFL in tight end receiving yards this year.
That's what Taylor Swift will do to you.
Hey,
draining that.
You might weak legs, man.
Yoko Ono of the Kansas City Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Now, when we get the official All-Pro first team, can we get a correction here? Just do me a favor. 2 positions should be Lions. To me, center and right tackle should be Frank Ragnow and Penei Sewell.
Okay.
Penei Sewell's been the highest graded. It's your website, PFF.
No.
Highest graded tackle for majority of the season. And he's 3 years old. And Speddy had a great take yesterday saying he'll go up there on the Mount Rushmore of Detroit Lions. I'm actually with him because, he's 23 years old. He's got a lot of football left to play. And I think he had a better year than Lane Johnson. I know Lane's been dealing with injuries, so it's not fair to him, of course. But this goes back to players voting. Hopefully on the official All-Pro first team, they give it to Penei because I think he had that type of season where he deserves to be an actual All-Pro first team, make the All-Pro first team.
Yeah. No, I've got a couple of problems. I'll go with like the offense first because obviously, yes, Penei Sewell should be on this list over Lane Johnson. It should be Penei Sewell and it should be Trent Williams. And even when you look into their numbers, Penei Sewell had the much better season. Lane Johnson allowed 33 pressures and 3 sacks. Penei Sewell allowed 20 and 1 sack. And when it comes to their run blocking grades, according to Pro Football Focus, Lane Johnson is 78.5 and Penei Sewell is 93.1, which is the best in the NFL. And he also is the highest graded tackle in the NFL, period. The highest graded offensive lineman in the NFL, period. He should most certainly be first team All-Pro. And it's no disrespect to Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson is going to retire as one of the best right tackles ever.
Hall of Famer.
He's going to have a gold jacket in Canton. If he retired right now, he would have a gold jacket in Canton. And it's impressive that he's still playing at such a high level despite his age and his injury history. But Penei Sewell is having the better year. The whole Frank Ragnow and Jason Kelce, that's tough because when you look into their numbers, they're very, very similar. Frank Ragnow is the number 1 rated PFF center and Jason Kelce is 4th. But when you look at pressures allowed, Jason Kelce's allowed less. Sacks allowed, they've both allowed 1, and their run blocking grade, Ragnow's is slightly better than Kelce's. If it's like a player voted award, I can see why you'd go to Jason Kelce. To me, one of them's going to get AP first team and one's going to get all AP second team, and it wouldn't bother me too much. I do have one other bone to pick with this list, though, and it's on the defensive side. It has absolutely nothing to do with the Detroit Lions. And this one might surprise you. I'd be kind of curious to what your guess is. If you had a guess what my bone to pick is on the defensive side, what would it be, Jeff, if you want to throw up that list again, JB?
Yeah, okay, so again, to recap, and I'll look at this list and I'll give you my guess. This is voted on by players. This isn't the official list. I just want to make that clear. I don't people are assuming that this is just players voted. But what position I think you have a problem with? I hope it's not edge rusher.
No.
Okay. Don't make the case for Aiden.
Honestly, though,
don't make the case for
You
Aiden.
could probably put TJ Watt on there, but there's so many good ones because Max Crosby and Myles Garrett, how can you take them off? I can just tell you if you want.
Is it Patrick Surtain?
It is Patrick Surtain.
Ding, 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 ding.
Good catch on you, JB Smooth. Patrick Surtain should be nowhere near like first team All-Pro, not even close. If you want to put Deron Bland on there, I think he should be. Even though Deron Bland, he has given up some yards, he has gotten burned from time to time. He has 9 interceptions and 5 pick sixes, and it's not like Trayvon Diggs. When Trayvon Diggs was making all those picks, he was also allowing 1,000 yards. Deron Bland has allowed 689 when targeted and 3 touchdowns, which means that when he's been targeted, he has allowed 3 touchdowns and has had 9 interceptions, which means he has a 50.9 passer rating allowed when targeted, even though he has given up some yards and been burnt from time to time. Pat Surtain, though. Pat Surtain has given up a 93.9 passer rating when targeted and yielded 56 receptions for 701 yards and 3 touchdowns. Patrick Surtain this season has been mid. Who should have been on that list is one Jalen Johnson of the Chicago Bears. He has been the best cover corner in the league in terms of being a like Johnson Island of anybody. He has allowed a passer rating of 33.3 when targeted and allowed 25 receptions for 195 yards and 1 touchdown. He has put almost every receiver he has ever covered in a jail cell this year. So Patrick Surtain, that is just name recognition. I don't know why they would put him in. And there's no disrespect to Pat Surtain. He has had some damn good years, but Jalen Johnson and Deron Bland, I think, are the clear choice. And if you want to add Sauce Gardner to that as well, he has a case, but I think Pat Surtain has no case. I don't know why the hell he's up there.
Yeah, and I remember when the Lions faced the Broncos, they gave, I mean, St. Brown gave Surtain that work.
And there's nothing, I'm not disrespecting him as like a player and what he's done in this league.
I just don't think this year.
Yeah, this year.
He's still one of the best corners in the NFL.
Yeah.
I just think this year, you're right.
I mean, but that's the thing. Pat Surtain has a track record. He's a guy who is universally regarded as a top corner in the league. Jalen Johnson is one who has had that steady rise and now has officially arrived as, in my opinion, the number 1 lockdown corner on the league in the league this season. So I would put him on. I know Booner is upset about TJ Watt, and I understand that. It's just that at edge rusher, like there's a case for Crosby, there's a case for Myles Garrett, there's a case for TJ Watt, there's a case for Micah Parsons. I think on the funny thing is I believe on the AP there's a lot more spots.
Yes.
There's like defensive ends, there's like outside linebackers. So everyone that you want on this, like who you want on first team, will probably be on the AP first team. So I wouldn't take this one too seriously, but there are some egregious snubs, especially Panay not being on it.
Yeah, I think TJ Watt, I picked him to win Defensive Player of the Year before the year, and I think he should win that award. Look at his numbers.
Stupid.
It's ridiculous.
Stupid.
Doesn't take anything away from Myles Garrett or Max Crosby, but TJ Watt he's still a presence. I mean, he is. I don't think he's playing in their playoff game. I think he's ruled out.
Yeah, that's
so that's a huge loss.
Yo, like that's why the Bills, I think, are double-digit favorites.
Yeah,
they get to play Pittsburgh without TJ Watt.
Yep. So we'll see when the official All-Pro list who makes it. I think these are going to be a little off. I don't know if a couple of these guys will be there. Broder says, "Where's Cam Sutton?"
I think that's going to be me and Broder's feud from now on.
He just doesn't think you said he stinks. He disagrees with. He stinks.
Was that a little bit harsh? Maybe. Does he have a real cornerback number 2 consistently? No. But my thing is more that when you play in the playoffs, you're going to get the Rams in round 1. And we all know how Cam Sutton has looked against the best receivers. And it's not the most shameful thing in the world. You're going to give up some big games to big receivers, but you're going to have to go up against Puka Nacua. And round number 2, should the Lions advance that far, you're probably going to face CeeDee Lamb and the Cowboys again. And how did CeeDee Lamb do against the Lions last time? I know that the offense as a whole didn't look that great. It's just I feel like Cam Sutton was one of those guys at some points during the year where people were like, he's been really good. He's been that guy who's been, I don't know, under the radar, one of the more important pieces of this defense. And the way that this season has played out, I would say that that's not the case. He had some good moments, but he's not a cornerback one.
And
not
I made that argument early in the year because he was playing really well. He has not been playing well. A part of that, I think, is on the defense. I mean, they just got to get more pressure.
It's not all his fault.
But you are correct. I wouldn't say he stinks. That's where me and you disagree. But he hasn't been great. He hasn't been great.
I admit that I may have...
Stinks is a little aggressive.
I may have
like
been
Kendall Vildor, he stinks.
Oh, he does too.
But Cam Sutton actually, I think Cam Sutton is a number 2 corner as your number 1 corner.
Yeah,
he's just out of position,
and that's fair.
I don't think he's a true number 1.
Well, and also, and it's been mentioned before that when you play cornerback for Pittsburgh, you've got T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith and Cam Hayward on your defensive line. So you're not gonna have to cover receivers for as long. I mean, I'm not even trying to actually, when I say someone stinks, that probably is kind of disrespectful. I'm just saying that I feel like the reason why I went with stinks is because I think people just hear Cam Sutton and they assume, he's been all right. So I had to kind of shock them a little bit with my numbers. Blind them with numbers. She blinded me with numbers.
Let's head to break, and we'll get to what's trending with
numbers.
JB.
Okay, sorry. Science! I'm sorry.
You done killed JB over there.
JB, is this your man? Come get him. Come get him right now. Let's go to break. When we come back, we'll get to what's trending with JB, of course, then Mailbag. First, got to hear about our friends from Guardian Alarm.
Guardian Alarm.
Now that's a lead.
Yes, it's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It's time. Check. You watch us. Check the clocks in your household. It's time for What's Trending with JB. JB, what do you got for us today?
I said early when we started the show that one of the GOATs of college football coaching stepping away. Nick Saban is retiring. 7 national championships, 5 SEC Coach of the Year awards, 297 career wins, 28 years of greatness. Of just pure greatness, all of this accomplishments, everyone that he's, taught, and they've all moved on to the NFL. This man is a great motivator, but a lot of people from Alabama are not taking this so well.
All good things come to an end.
Yeah, but my main man is stepping down.
I know it, but listen.
The greatest coach there is.
I know it.
Can't everybody beat him.
I know it. Look, listen. He's the greatest coach there ever was. He's the greatest. He'll go down as the greatest coach ever. Listen to me. But listen.
This right here hurts.
I know it hurts you.
Man
it hurts
is upset,
me. It hurts
you guys.
every Bama
very
fan.
upset.
And everybody that's not a Bama
so
fan should
that,
appreciate the greatness that he's done.
In Tuscaloosa right now, at the statue of Nick Saban, we're chanting anybody
like he died.
but Dabo.
The man didn't die.
Anyone but Dabo!
Anyone but Dabo.
And even this old
I actually don't
lady's
hate that
reaction as well too.
Hey, you all right? Why? Nick Saban retiring? Huh? Nick Saban retiring. What? It's on ESPN. Oh, shit, no.
Like I said, people are not taking this news very well, but I heard that Dan Lanning was actually in Tuscaloosa the other day scoping out things. So who knows? Oregon might be losing a head coach.
I mean, it would. I like Dan Lanning a lot. I think he's a great coach. I think a lot of coaches would be willing to just throw up the deuces at whatever university they're currently at to go to Alabama. That is a job that I don't think any program, any other school would blame their current head coach. You just can't if they're like, hey, I'm out. I'm going to Alabama.
Yeah,
it's too good of a job.
Dan Lanning to me is somebody that Alabama should look at, as we talked about before, and Booner brought it up. Lane Kiffin. I think those are two of the top prime candidates who have done really good things at schools, who are not on Alabama's level, but especially in the case of Oregon, have gotten really close at times, but have never been able to finish the job. It's just funny with these Alabama fans. I understand their sentiment, why they are so upset, but they've been so spoiled lately. I mean, Saban gave them 6. And at some point, don't you have to just kind of sit back and just be a satisfied fan at some point? Nah. It's not like they won 1. They won 6. KG, you're like, nah. You want to win it every year. Like let's make it 10.
Once you give a mouse a cookie, it just keeps going. Like, hey, give me more. I want more. I mean, you think 6 national titles? It's like, all right,
6 since 2009.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
And you saw the stat: almost 50 players drafted in the first round. That's crazy.
And you're going to have 2 or 3 more in this draft with like Kool-Aid and Dallas Turner and maybe Terry and Arnold. So
hey, hopefully Kool-Aid is a Lion and he can come to us this upcoming draft.
Maybe he'll have a bad combine or something in fall.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you got to trade up for that guy.
That's a Lion. That's make him a Lion right now.
But I mean, a lot of coaches yesterday start calling it quits as well too. You got to give your hats off to Bill Belichick. Calling it quits this morning actually. And the Patriots and them letting go. Kenji, cue the boys to men. So hard to say goodbye to yesterday, man.
Oh, my God.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
To say goodbye.
Yeah, the sport will never be quite the same with those two. Just football in general. I mean, Nick Saban, Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, that is like 3 staples in this sport.
Yep.
And they're just gone like that.
Yeah.
It's like a shooting star. It just goes across the sky and it just disappears.
We getting old, guys.
Yeah.
Man, think about
Time
this.
flies.
Since 2001, those 3 guys have combined for 15 Super Bowls and national championships coached.
Sheesh.
2 with Carroll, 7 with Saban, and 6 with Belichick, because Saban also won one with LSU. Just greatness personified, particularly when it comes to Saban and Belichick, who I think are the GOATs in their respective sports.
Greatness. Just greatness right there. And lastly, you know what? If you can't find an open spot for the Lions game on Sunday at the Hamlin Pub, and after you watch the pregame show here with us here at Woodward Sports with your boy Jeff Iafredi on the desk, how would you like watching it on a big screen at the movie theaters? Imagine Theaters is giving people the opportunity to watch the Lions game for free.
Okay,
at select theaters.
That's a robbery. So do that for free.
I
mean, I'm charging for that.
That's fly.
For free.
Shout out to Imagine.
Of course, the limit 8 tickets, per group, but you can only pick up the tickets on Sunday at 5 p.m. Starting then and there. But hey, free. I'll take that any day.
Oh yeah, and I know the Royal Oak location is where we had the draft watch party when we drafted Cade Cunningham. So we were there already. Yeah, if you're not doing anything, and you want to watch it at home, why not go to the movie theater?
They got a bar.
Some people would rather be locked in. By the way, put in the chat where you're watching the game this weekend. If you're going, obviously you'll be there. But if you're at home, comment where you'll be at. I know people have different ways to watch the game. I'll be at Cicerelli's. I'll be at actually by Neil Rule, to be honest with you. So that'll be a lot of fun. But I'll be with my dad because I'm taking the advice of the chat here, and I think that's a great idea. I'll be there. But what does everyone like to watch the game? I know people like to watch it by themselves. Mike Gentry likes to do that. He locks in by himself and watches the game.
Preferably I like to watch it by myself, kind of in a padded cell, preferably, which is where a lot of people think I belong during that Michigan game. But I honestly, what's funny is that these watch parties sometimes can get a little bit distracting at times because everybody's here and whatnot. And I love being with all you guys, but during tense moments, it's just sometimes I almost black out what everybody's saying. But when the Lions even win these big regular season games, when the Michigan won the Rose Bowl and then the national championship, just getting to celebrate with the guys, it's like it's a surreal experience being in this building at like 1 a.m, just basking in glory. I don't know. I'll probably be at the watch party this Sunday.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. I know people commenting now. King says, I'll be watching the game at home in Dallas. Eric Allen says, house party. Dante says, at home. Brett says, home sweet home. Super Juggernaut 87 says, my father's grave.
Whoa. That got dark.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Shout out to your dad.
Streaming it on his phone.
Nick says, at Ford Field, you lucky bastard, Nick.
Right.
Detroit Dabber 313, does Imagine have special fence seats for Jeff? Okay.
Oh.
Damn it, Dabber. You just had to go there, didn't you?
Dabber might be the leader of a certain army that I will not. I will not give them their name.
Mike Reed says I will be at Ford Field. Yeah, if you're going to the game, man, lucky you. That environment is going to be something. It'll be one of those moments where you look back and you're like, where were you on this date?
Yeah.
And you'll be at Ford Field. That is sweet. Terrell from FL says I'll be at home. There's no way I could watch that game in the public. I'm going to barely be human.
And after that game, fair. Terrell, are you gonna argue with Stick again like that one time? That was great TV, by the way. That was comedy.
But all right, that's it for what's trending with JB. Now back to you guys.
All right, Lunchbox Hooligan says I'm watching at home in my room, making the wife sleep on the couch just in case something gets broken.
Oh boy.
You know what, Lunchbox? I respect that. I respect the hell out of that. It Hip says I live in Florida and flying up for it to take my dad to it. Money well spent as it's its first game at Ford Field. That is awesome. Let's go to break here. When we come back, we'll get into mailbag. Get your questions ready. I'll try to answer as many as we can. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Dispo.
Dispo, a place that everyone should probably go to
Smoke that Honolulu Blue Pack
before the game, so we can all be calm. Although I will not be, but I'll watch everyone else do it. Start the year lifted. Visit Dispo Dispensary today for exclusive new deals. Experience Dispo Dispensary, a team that curates an unbelievable atmosphere, mixed with fresh inventory for Michigan's largest variety of products. Come through our stores or order on Dispo Dash today. New year, new deals, same plug. Dispo Dispensary, DispoShops.com. Your local cannabis plug.
Local.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 12th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, January 12th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesales.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show on the Woodward Sports Network. Let's get to mailbag. I see questions coming in already. Let's see here. Start us off. Jesse Adams. Or no, we'll start with Steve. Or no, there's more coming in. Okay, you know what? We'll start the first one. Steve-O, baby. Mailbag. Jeff, did you hear that bar has banned people from wearing Matthew Stafford jerseys? Did you hear that there's a bar that has banned? I wonder what bar that is. And Steve, I'm not surprised by that. I mean, is it a little petty? Maybe. But at the same time, again, I go back to the same point I've been making. Why are you wearing Stafford jerseys?
Yeah.
That is like, that. It doesn't even need to be explained. Like, what is understood doesn't need to be explained. Do not wear a Stafford jersey. Unless you're a Rams fan, of course, then I don't really know what to say to you. I mean, God bless you. But if you're a Lions fan, don't wear a Stafford jersey. If you're going to put a little duct tape on it, right, J-Mo?
Yeah. God, and just
come on.
Just imagine being out in public wearing a Stafford jersey. You will be shamed so much that hopefully you will be forced to kind of cower and go back to your car and take that jersey off.
Yeah, it's just not smart.
Yeah.
Big Con 51. Sam, would you be okay if Belichick? Would you be okay with Belichick for the Michigan head coach if Jim heads out? He ain't going to college.
No
way, no how.
No, I would not. And I'm as big of a Belichick guy as you'll find. But no, he's too old. Honestly. Let's let us bask in the national championship for a little while longer, and we don't even know that Jim Harbaugh's gone yet.
Let's see. This one's a little confusing, Eduardo. I'm not going to lie to you. Mailbag, does this mean we can finally beat Seattle? Do you think this is the game where if you were up 7 or less late in the fourth, you can't let the defense close it out? I'll be chanting, "We want Dallas" at Ford Field. I'll answer the second part. Do you think this is a game where if you're up 7 or less in the fourth, you can't let the defense close out? Yes. I think this... I think the way Dan approaches it is the correct way. You want to have the football to end the game. I don't want to see this Stafford to drive down the field, 2 minutes left. Oh no, I don't want to. The Lions need to possess the football at the end of the game. That should be the goal. I agree with you. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't want this game to fall on the defense.
I 100% agree. Imagine if they make a call that they did at the end of, similar to the one that they did at the end of the Chargers game where they went for it on 4th down. So instead of kicking a field goal that would have put them up with time left or potentially put them up with time left, they went for it on 4th, risking giving the ball back to the Chargers because they wanted to be able to run the clock down and then kick a field goal. Imagine what our emotions would be going through while we see the offense trot back onto the field and just waiting for it to be snapped, waiting to see if they're just trying to draw them offsides. That's the one thing. Playoff football is just different. I know some of those gambles, which for the record work more often than they don't. Playoffs are just a different stake.
I think the only way you could argue it is if the defense is playing really well, which I don't foresee that. But I could be wrong. Maybe the defense comes out and they're just flying all around the field. If they're playing really, this is why I talk about like the feel for the game. If the defense is playing really well and Stafford has 2 interceptions and he's not playing well and you're limiting Cooper Kupp and Puka, just throwing this out there, then maybe I'll be like, okay, maybe there's a chance. But regardless, you should end the game with the football. Like with how this offense is playing, I would defend Dan Campbell if the defense was getting torched and he went for it on 4th and he didn't get it. I would be like, well, there you go. That's your defense. I mean, you can't put the ball or allow your defense to close out a game. You just can't. So I'll defend that decision.
The good news, though, is that the defense has been playing better. I mean, they gave up 17 to Denver. They gave up 20 to Dallas. And then in both the Vikings games, they forced 6 interceptions combined. And Ife Melifonwu has been a big part of it. And he wasn't really... He was hurt. He hasn't really emerged until the last 4 games or so. So I think that is also evidence that maybe this defense will be okay moving forward. C.J. Gardner-Johnson's back. Aiden Hutchinson is playing the best ball of his career. Aleem McNeil's back. James Houston might be back. So maybe this defense will be okay, although if they yield a lot of yards to Kupp and Nacua and Stafford, it wouldn't shock me. But that doesn't mean they'll lose.
Let's see here. I want to make sure I get to these questions in order here. So we just answered. Okay, we'll get to Jesse's. Oh, no, Steve. Sorry, Steve. Steve says, mailbag, with both Puka and Kupp being threats, who do you think will be covering who? And do you think they double up or continue to play man? It's hard to double anyone up because you double somebody up. Cooper Kupp goes for 80, 100. I mean, you have to watch. You have to be very selective. I would put Cam Sutton. It's going to be really Cam Sutton on Puka, depending on where he's at, if he's playing outside. And then you have Cooper in the slot at times. That's going to be Brian Branch. So that's what it's going to come down to. And then you have who is it, DeMarcus Robinson,
Yeah.
That would be like Kendall Vildor.
Former Chief.
He's going to be, Kendall, go cover DeMarcus Robinson. Just put him in check. But Cooper and Puka, it's going to be Brian Branch and Cam Sutton.
Yeah.
And as it should be.
Yeah, and for the record, I've said some things about Cam Sutton that people don't like. Although I don't think he's been good this year. He's still the best you got in terms of outside corners. He's better than Khalil Dorsey. He's better than Jerry Jacobs. He's better than Kendall Vildor, who, by the way, I was talking about the Lions versus how they yielded a lot of yards to a CeeDee Lamb, and somebody in the chat pointed this out, and I did know this, but I want to make it clear. Kendall Vildor was the one on CeeDee Lamb when CeeDee had that 93-yard touchdown. It wasn't Cam Sutton. That particular one wasn't his fault. I just want to make that clear. And yes, when it comes to Cooper Kupp, it should be Brian Branch all day long. I mean, I talked about it. Glover Quinn mentioned it. John Maakaron mentioned it. The Lions' best cover guy this season has been Brian Branch in the slot. I'm not saying that he could just go out and play cornerback one like Cam Sutton. Well, maybe he could. But as far as a slot corner goes, against a team like the Rams, against a wide receiver like Cooper Kupp, who lines up more in the slot than outside, he will be very valuable to stopping or at least limiting this Rams passing attack.
Who farted? Says Dan Campbell's always going to play at the percentages, whether it makes him look like a madman or reckless. And let's just say, for example, you're in a similar situation like you were at Dallas. Kick the extra point.
Yeah.
Kick the extra point. Kick the extra point. This is the playoffs. This isn't like, we lost, let's move on to next week. No, this is everything.
Right.
Just kick the extra point.
I think he's smart enough to know that.
And I think he knows that.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about that type of situation. Kick the extra point.
Going for it on 4th and 14. I don't care.
Just go to OT. You know what I mean? Especially if you have penalties, just kick the extra point, please. But that'll do it.
You'd be dying.
We'll end it here. We're already over. We'll see you guys. Thank you so much for today. Tomorrow, Friday, Micro Mike's joining the show. We'll get into our game predictions. We'll give out our final scores. We'll get an all deep dive of the matchup itself. And kind of the path to victory for the Detroit Lions. We'll break that down in depth tomorrow. Don't forget Big D Energy. Yeah, I support Big D Energy. I do. I'm the bigger man, Neil Roll. I love you. Big D Energy 11-1. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz 2-4. Heavyweights 5-7. And then, of course, Woodward Nights 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Check all those shows out. They do great stuff. And don't forget, Sunday pregame show, 5:30 to 7:30. That's the time for the pregame show. Watch party will be here. And then the postgame show. That's the time slots. Just letting you guys know. So be ready for that on Sunday. I'm going to have a surprise for everybody on the pregame show on Sunday. And it involves my hair.
Oh boy.
So stick around. Yep, tune into the pregame show to find out what I'm doing there. It's going to be a lot of fun. From Sam Flannel, my guy, KG, and JB, we'll catch you. We'll see you. Have a good one. Deuces.